Hi, my name is Kondrachuk. I'm an attorney here at the Law Office of Sean Kendall, and today I'm just going to show you a little bit about the VA rating schedule, how to read the rating schedule, and how to interpret whether you're receiving the correct rating for your service-connected disabilities. So I'm just going to share my screen so we can kind of go through where you can find the rating schedule and what that looks like. So I like to use just the free Code of Federal Regulations from the Legal Information Institute. The VA also has the rating schedule available on their website, but I feel that the Legal Information Institute website is a little bit easier to navigate. So you just will probably Google schedule for rating disabilities, VA schedule for rating disabilities, and the Legal Information Institute site should come up, but I will share that link in the caption to this video as well. So if you navigate to subpart B of part 4, schedule for rating disabilities, you'll see where it says disability ratings. And this is going to contain a list of disabilities organized by category. So you have the musculoskeletal system, organs of special sense, so that's going to be sight, auditory acuity, that's going to be hearing obviously, and then it goes on and on. So one of the ones that I'd like to show you is the schedule for mental disorders, because I feel that that's one that's really common that we see, and it's one of the easier rating schedules to interpret. So if you click on that, you can see all of the different diagnoses that the VA includes under this rating schedule. And then if you go to the bottom, you'll find the general rating formula for mental disorders, which is going to have the rating schedule for any of these diagnoses. So all of these diagnoses will be rated under the same schedule. And the schedule includes symptoms, so you're rated based on your symptoms. So when you start at a 0% rating, it's a mental condition has been formally diagnosed, but symptoms are not severe enough either to interfere with occupational and social functioning or to require continuous medication. And that's going to be a 0% rating for a mental disorder. Most commonly, we're going to see that most mental disorders are rated at 10% or higher, simply because if you're taking a medication for a mental disorder, that's at least a 10% rating, as you'll see by the rating schedule here where it says symptoms controlled by continuous medication. If you go higher, you'll see that the symptoms range from anything from mild memory loss to memory loss for names of close relatives at the 100% level, which is going to be a more severe level of memory loss, obviously. And you'll see in this rating schedule that it uses the word "or" when it lists the symptoms. That means that you don't have to have all of the symptoms in order to receive the higher rating. You just have to show that you have some of the symptoms. In some cases, even one symptom of one of the higher ratings is going to qualify you for that rating. So say you're at a 50% rating for a mental disorder, that's what the VA is giving you, but you also have the symptom of suicidal ideation, which is included in the 70% rating category. That's right here. You should qualify for the 70% rating. You can argue for it at least. So that's something to be aware of when you're reviewing the VA decision. They may not properly rate you, or they may say, well, you have more 50% symptoms than you have 70% symptoms, so we're going to give you a 50% rating. But you can still argue for the 70% rating if you have 70% symptoms. So navigating back to the rating schedule for all the disabilities, one disability that we see commonly rated is gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD, but you're not going to see the word GERD in the rating schedule. Not every condition under the sun is named in the rating schedule. Some things are rated under a code that's similar to the symptoms for that condition. So GERD happens to be one of those conditions. Even though it's a very common condition, there's actually no specific provision in the rating schedule for GERD. So that'll be under the digestive system. When you go to schedule of ratings, digestive system, and that disability is rated under, I'll just search for it, hernia hiatal is what it's called. And these are symptoms that are very similar to GERD. That's why it's rated here under what they call an analogous rating code. So you're going to see this with a few different disabilities. They may say, there's no rating provided for this condition in the rating schedule, so we're rating you under analogous code. And you want to kind of pay close attention to that because they may have picked a code that doesn't properly represent your symptoms. And that can be where it's important to get an attorney or a representative involved in order to argue for the ratings code that more appropriately captures your symptoms, because that ratings code may provide for a higher rating than the code that the VA is rating you under. So you'll see here, the code talks about the different symptoms you must have to get each level of rating. And you'll also see that it uses the word or, but it also, for some of the symptoms listed, uses the word and. So to get a 30% rating for GERD, you have to have dysphagia, porosis, and regurgitation. Anytime you see the word and in the rating schedule, it means they need you to have each of those symptoms in order to get that level of rating. Unlike the mental disorders code that we saw where they use the word or, and you only have to have some of the symptoms to show you qualify for that level of rating. So there's a lot to unpack here in the ratings code. There's pretty complex rating schedules, especially for when you talk about things like musculoskeletal system, for joints. For something like a knee disability, you may be able to get a rating for limitation of range of motion as well as instability of the knee. And that's something that you might miss if you don't have a lot of experience with VA claims. It's something that the VA misses a lot. So that's why it can be important to get an attorney involved in your case. We know the ins and outs of the rating schedule. We know a lot of it by heart. So if you have any questions about whether you've been appropriately rated, we're happy to take a look at the decision that you received to see if we can assist you with an appeal. There's a lot of free information available on our website as well. If you go to the free offers on our website, we have an offer that talks about knee ratings and the different codes that can be assigned for a knee disability. So that can be really helpful. Also just kind of a course on joint ratings and how those are assigned.